Hello, Gwen Sinclair here to give my contribution to Raymond's rally for the Netherlands for Independence 2025. So I've decided that it would be nice to go out somewhere today and take you out. It's such a lovely day, it's just stunning. Look at the sky, it's like unbelievably blue. Look, you can just about see a saltire between the trees there. I'm pretty sure most of you will recognise this, anyone who knows Scotland, but for those that don't, this is the Stirling Bridge, and this was the one which was built to replace the bridge, which was part of the attack that William Wallace put in place alongside Andrew de Murray when they were fighting for Scottish freedom back in 1297. So we're just going to walk up over the bridge and you can get a look. It's absolutely stunning today. You can hear the birds singing. And that of course is the River Forth, for which the whole battle was all about this river and access to the river, and also in order to be able to cross the river. So this is a huge big long river which cuts quite across a big part of Scotland, and so therefore any bridge that was on the river they were able to access from the south of Scotland to up into the north. Of course that's what made Stirling such an important place for Edward I, who wanted to keep a hold of Stirling and its castle, which is up behind me. But we'll carry on, and if you can just see a little bit ahead of me, you can see Wallace Monument there. Now that was put in place in 1820 by public subscription. So people sent money from all over the world in order to make a monument to William Wallace, which I think is a really important thing to remember. Scotland's never been isolated as a nation, even though we've been made to feel that we are. We've been loved from all over, and what he tried to achieve in his life and gave his life for was very, very much appreciated by other people from all over the world. It was cost an absolute fortune in its day, and I believe when they went to lay the first foundation stone for it, there was around about 10,000 people came up to Abbey Craig. That's the bit of hill that you can see there before they laid the stone. I mean, I can't imagine how 10,000 people in 1820 even got there. Imagine how many horses and carts. Now, this bridge we're on just now was built in the 1200s, or potentially, sorry, the 1400s, and it was the main bridge over the river for many, many years. And it's beautifully built. And we'll just go to there's wee points and halfway across where you can stand and look down. Well, we know that wasn't just for tourists though. It would have been to make sure that they could police the traffic that would have been using this river, or scoundrels and thieves and attacks. So I'm going to go out into this little bit here so you can have a look down. It's a stunning day. There's some people out there, and over there there's a bit of information about the bridge and the battle, and over there as well at that side. So there's two bits you can sit at. But I wanted to bring you here today as well because I think it's important for us to remember that this fight for Scotland has always been the case. England seems to have had an almost insane desire to control and keep Scotland under its thrall since, way back in the day, even before Wallace or Bruce came to Stirling to fight for Scotland. And I think we should remember there's so many years that we have never allowed ourselves to become completely subsumed into England. We still think of ourselves as Scottish. We still believe that we deserve to have the rights that other nations in Europe have, and we still believe that we can be that nation and be completely independent, not any different to any other nation in Europe. And I think we should be I feel very proud of the number of people who have done that for us through our past, and now as we carry this fight on. So just looking down over, you can see into the Forth. The river's actually a wee bit low today, and it's also very, very still. This is a tidal river, so it tends to be quite fast flowing in the wetter weather. And actually, just to be reminding everybody, this is the incredible place that will be the starting point for the march for All Under One Banner for Independence in exactly 4 weeks' time. There will be thousands of supporters out here gathered with pipes and drums, flags and banners, and I always like to think the spirit of our ancestors and Wallace and Bruce gathering here with us to take that message through the town, a message for Scottish freedom, and down into St Ninians to Bruce's statue at Bannockburn Field, And this will be on Saturday 21st of June, and we'll be starting off here at 11 AM. Last year we did a day just like this, so if we can get really good weather again, it's going to be marvellous. So I'll straight ahead up in the hill, you can see Stirling Castle, and commemorate the battle round about the same time of year, 13th and 14th of June, 711 years ago. And it's, to be honest, without that battle, and also the battle for Stirling Bridge, Scotland wouldn't be what it is today. We would definitely have been lost and subsumed into England, barely keeping a status of a nation alive. For those that wanted Scotland to remain just that, a nation, not giving in to the years that followed when Scotland was rarely left in peace, as long as England seemed, with almost every generation of its leaders that followed, to have an obsessive disposition to take Scotland for themselves, leading to hundreds of unnecessary wars and unnecessary deaths, which is what Wallace attempted to try to stop altogether. He wanted peace for Scotland. And a day like today, it feels very peaceful. But we know behind the scenes, even just this week, Scotland's been undermined yet again, because we had rights of a parliament. In 1999 we voted overwhelmingly to have our Scottish Parliament restored. Unfortunately, what happened last week was that more of the powers that had been devolved to the Scottish Parliament have been ridden roughshod over again and again. And this week it was the fishing rights. So they had a meeting with the EU to try to negotiate the rights of Scotland's fishing behind closed doors that Scotland wasn't even allowed to be involved in. Now I would say that we should be imploring our leaders to do something about this, to speak up about it, to make much more of a fuss than they ever do. And I believe that they're far too quiet, they're far too polite. They need to start speaking out for Scotland a bit louder. I mean, this is going to be quite devastating to the fishermen in Scotland. You have a read about it. I had an article in the National today about it. And so we're nowhere near having the parliament that we need in Scotland. We need a parliament which allows us to make all the decisions here. There's nobody sitting behind closed doors making decisions for Scotland. And you can just see the Wallace Monument straight ahead. We need to call this out for what it is, because we're tired of being shamelessly made a mug of. Absolutely and utterly made absolute mugs of. As they take our oil, they take our gas, they use our lochs and personal safety for their nuclear weapons, they take our electricity and our water, all for the purpose of making rich people even richer, and to use the taxes to be spent in their own treasury in Westminster, whilst cutting the budget for the Scottish Parliament year on year, making it even more difficult for us to be able to provide the services that we, the people of Scotland, need. It's actually unacceptable. Let's be clear. It's plain to see that the Treaty of Union does nothing to protect us from the excesses of greed. And yet we are supposed to turn a blind eye to it and designed it that way so that we will fight against each other. Well, really we should be standing up for Scotland, that is still being gradually chipped away, chopped down, sliced off, drilled out, eroded and lost into the pockets of people who don't even live here. But we weren't meant to be here, of course. We were meant to have gone back in the box that says we are British. And as such, we should stand silently nodding while everything that belongs to Scotland is put up for grabs. We were really meant to say nothing and become reduced, diminished and compressed down to a quiet life that barely keeps our head above the water, and be thankful for it. But it seems that over half of us don't want to go back in the box. Over half of us want our land back, so that we can build our lives with our own resources and resourcefulness that they can't take away. Their own good lives with their own resources and resourcefulness that they can't take away ever again. And we won't be ignored, and we will implore our elected leaders to do the same. We will keep on taking Scotland's message to anyone who will listen. We will speak out, because we know that it's the only way that we can change this. And anyone who questions it, we ask them if they want to be in a Treaty of Union that deliberately avoids answering the question as to how we can decide when we want to leave. As of just now, we don't seem to have that right. Scotland is just merely a plaything, a cash cow, a gift that keeps on giving. and they will keep on taking from us unless enough of us get together and say, this is our country, these are our lands and these are our resources that we will use to enhance the lives of those who live here and struggle here, to live through the excesses of winters that are difficult and terrain that is difficult, which will not, and we will pay not just a decent pension but a bloody good pension to those who toiled their whole lives in Scotland and raised our people in a nation where these resources will ensure that there will be no poverty, no homelessness, and no one will go to bed hungry or cold on our watch within this oil-rich and gas-rich nation. Today all we have to do is decide who we will talk to first, and talk until they listen. That's how we can make this happen. So thank you so much for coming to join me at Stirling Bridge today, and I do hope you enjoy the rest of the day. And thank you so much to Raymond once again for organising this rally and for keeping on standing up for Scotland from the Netherlands. And thank you to all of you for everything that you do to stand up proudly for Scotland. Sior Alapa Gu Bra.